Rolling.
Roll.
Don't use any of this. Don't.
Okay, carry 3.
Hi.
They love you. You know.
This is Princess Leia Organa. You're listening to Planet Leia.
Permission is granted to land on Planet Leia. Brought to you by Fantha Trackers. Here is your host, Claire Henry.
Hi everybody, welcome to the first episode of Planet Leia, brought to you by Fantha Trackers. I'm delighted to say that this morning for me, this evening for my two co-hosts for the show today, I've got with me Becca Benjamin and Christy Morris. Say hello.
Hey. Hello.
Planet Leia for us is about bringing women, girls, or people who just want to be with us together from across the world. We've got on our team a wide range of people from Europe and America. We've got some people from Sweden, myself from the UK. Becca, where are you from?
I am from Buffalo, New York, very close to Canada. So yeah, upstate New York.
And Christy, where are you from?
I'm from Atlanta, Georgia. So I'm down in the South.
So as you can see, it's like a triangle across the transatlantic pond, isn't it? What we thought we'd do in this first episode is for you guys to get to know us a little bit, see where we're all coming from, and show you that although we may be from different parts of the world, we share a love for Star Wars, but we do it in different ways and we've all come from it at different angles. If I go to, Becca, do you want to go first about where you started your love for Star Wars and where you're at now?
Yeah, well, I've been around since the beginning, thanks to my mom always being a sci-fi fan. She was very into Star Trek back in the day. There was this thing called Star Wars that my brother was really into because back then it was very much geared towards the boy. But me being the younger child and being the girl, I, went along and it was a big family event. And I completely fell head over heels at the age of 4 for the original Man in Black, Darth Vader. I'm still very much in love with Darth Vader. I think my real big connection came because I was so young then. I mean, by the time Return of the Jedi happened, I was only 9 years old. So to really understand the bigger picture of Star Wars didn't happen probably till the prequels. That was my angle, if you want to call it. That's where I got connected and sucked in really hard. And that was through Padme. There was just something so different about her that it spoke to me right away, especially towards her end in Revenge of the Sith, what she went through, her standing up against everything, her biggest fear and her biggest and greatest love, and never giving up and always keeping some spark of hope, no matter how bleak it was for everybody and for herself. Padme resonates with me, and I think that's where my heart lies. And it makes complete sense if you think that my initial love was Darth Vader, and it comes full circle with Padme because they're basically two minds, two hearts, and they belong together, across the stars type thing. So who would have thought that would have happened?
It's ironic that your first love was Darth Vader, and then we didn't know, did we really, until the prequels came, that it was Padme.
Exactly. Yeah, I've kind of been in her shoes, not on the galactic scale, but my divorce from my first husband wasn't pretty at all. And it's interesting that what played out on screen in 2005 literally played out in my home basically in 2007. So it's pretty weird. It was kind of a foreboding thing. So I connect with her in a lot of personal ways, and I don't like it when people speak very unkindly about that character.
Okay, remember that, like Christy. Don't diss Padme ever.
Don't do it. Don't do it. But I will say this. I will end it on this note. Kat Tabor did say on the Sisters of the Force panel that Padme made great decisions in everything but men. But I will have to say that, yes, she did, because in the end, she didn't choose to follow him. So she actually did make a great decision, even when it came to men.
Mm-hmm. So where do you come from or into this crazy world of Star Wars?
So mine is a lot different. I'm a little bit younger. My first introduction.
A lot younger.
I said a little. Come on. I was introduced to Star Wars and Star Trek, sci-fi, fantasy, everything by my dad ever since I was very small. he actually always thought it was funny that I was one of the few little girls he ever knew that was not afraid of Alien or Predator. I liked those movies.
Yeah.
I still do. First saw Star Wars when I was 12 when The Phantom Menace came out. It was amazing because I'm a totally different generation of fan because, I mean, obviously you don't choose when you were born. That was the first Star Wars movie I saw in a theater. And I got to see all of the prequels the day they came out in theaters. And then I grew from there. And I remember watching Empire later at summer camp one year. We had like a free period and that's what they were showing in the auditorium.
How
That's
cool.
awesome. No, we didn't have that. That's cool.
No, definitely.
I want to go back to school then.
Yeah.
But Empire was always my favorite because I feel like, you know, I love the training with Luke and Yoda. That's just my thing. And then, you know, Yoda and R2 fighting is just adorable.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that was something my husband and I then bonded over when we were dating was, so you like Star Wars, right? Because it's going to be a problem if you don't.
I like him.
Yeah. And then he actually got me more into comic books I hadn't been into in a long time. I read them when I was little, but I had kind of given up on him. And his favorite character is Spider-Man. So he then got me into comics and everything else that he loves. And now our house is full of Star Wars stuff.
So I see.
I see that.
What we need to describe here is that Becca and I are sitting here. I'm in my kitchen, sort of living room area with like little tiny R2-D2 teapots and Battle of Yavin coasters, and behind Christy is this awesome display of figures and all sorts.
I see Funko Pops.
I see an Ahsoka. Yeah, I see Ahsoka down to the bottom left. It's the Leia. It's the Hoth Leia at the top left. I see
That's
that
my
one.
favorite Leia outfit is Hoth Leia.
I bought the Columbia jacket.
I'm so jealous.
It went on sale in the UK at 4:00 in the morning. So that must have been about 11 o'clock. I don't know what time, evening time. It must have gone on sale, you know, in the US at that time. And I remember being on it and my husband was like, what are you doing? I went, I'm buying stuff. Don't worry. Click, 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 click. Yes!
Don't worry about how much it costs.
I got one. Oh, don't even go there. Shh.
I don't know where you get your delusions, laser brain.
I'm from Northern Ireland. I'm going to give a very potted history of Northern Ireland. 1970s, terrorism was at its height, really. And you, as a child or as a family or as people living there, it didn't matter where you lived, the troubles, as they called it, affected everybody. But the one escapism was going to the cinema. I was 5 when it came out. So my dad took me with my granddad to see Star Wars. And I think, again, it had been a particularly rotten time. I think there'd been quite a lot of bomb scares. There'd been traffic jams, the whole works. But as a kid, that's just the norm. Went to the Tonic Cinema in Bangor, which is the town that I lived in. It was an old-fashioned proper, so it had an upper circle, middle circle, and then stalls. And we were in the middle circle, and the screen was massive. It was like an IMAX screen, and that was it. I'd gone. I had gone. And there was Princess Leia, you know, fighting evil, all the rest of it. And that kind of resonated with what was going on at home. And, you know, actually women can do this too, and girls can do this as well. So where I went, I was an OT girl. I'm going to say I kind of missed the prequels. That was when I was sort of in my formative university years. I did see them. I managed to go and see The Phantom Menace in Leicester Square for a press screening because my friend worked for Kentucky Fried Chicken and they had tickets and they said, well, you like Star Wars, so you can have it. So the original trilogy are my go-tos, but I like them all. Does that make sense?
It does.
Don't ask me massive questions about the ins and outs of anything. Like I couldn't tell you who the third bounty hunter on the left was and their name. I could probably describe them, and I sit and I watch Star Wars films. For me and my best friend Andrew, who went to primary school with me, he came in having seen Star Wars and we used to play it. I was Princess Leia, he was Han Solo, and we had a tree in our playground which was the Millennium Falcon.
Fun.
40 odd years later, Andrea and I are still geeking out, going to conferences, going to Comic Cons. We have very patient husbands and wives who tolerate Star Wars, I think I'm going to say. And they just let us rock on with it. So that's kind of where I'm at with it. I'm an OT girl. I've got loads of Leia stuff. Where you say Padme's yours, Leia's mine. That's where I'm at.
I was glad that Becca said that she loved Vader, though, as well, because Vader's really my favorite character.
Oh, so your dark side.
He graced my 4th birthday cake because it was right when I was turning 4 with Star Wars coming out, because I turned 4 in July. Yeah, I had pink icing around a Darth Vader mask on my cake.
So cute.
My mother was like, "Are you sure?" Yes. Yes.
And that is the quality of Star Wars that we had to deal with.
Yes. These kids are very lucky today.
Who doesn't have a lightsaber here?
Oh, I have lightsaber.
I have a lightsaber. I've got a green and... Yes. You see?
I have the Skywalker line. I have Vader's. I have Anakin's, now Rey's. Well, the Skywalker saber. So we'll just call that one the blue one.
Yeah.
And then, of course, I have Luke's.
Yes, so. I have the green one and the Skywalker saber as well. So what now, ladies, is your thing about Star Wars now? So that's where we came from all those years ago. What is it now that keeps you in the Star Wars fandom?
Well, I mean, I'm kind of like contributing as much as I can. Like, I get questions like, when do you sleep? I'm like, well, what's that? I mean, in my spare time, I'm either writing for Fantha Trackers, or I'm reviewing books for Tarkin's Top Shelf, or I'm just kicking it back with Deb and Red 5 Mom and just talking everything Star Wars. I mean, for me right now, I think what I gravitate to most is the books, because it fills those gaps, the backstories. You know, it gives you basically what's going on behind the scenes and in the mindset of the characters. And I think that's what I'm drawn to now. I want to know what these characters are thinking. Like, why did they do that? Like, that's why I'm one of those people that I'm like so for a Ben Solo Kylo Ren book, because I really want to get inside his head. Not in the nasty way that he does to Rey, but I just want to know what makes this guy tick. Why is he doing these things? Like, why? So I think I live for the books now because I want that backstory.
Yeah.
I want to know.
And I think the quality of the authors now are just incredible.
Claudia Gray. I can do a whole thing on her alone.
I know. I was a bit gutted not to see her at Celebration. I really did want to go over and just go, I love everything that you do, and just say that, and then walk away. And that's it.
She had such a huge welcoming at the Lucasfilm Publishing panel. I think she was taken aback because she was like, oh. Yeah. Because we're all like, yeah, like big wave, like, woo, you know, so yeah, she's awesome.
She is incredible, really. Her books in particular, and E.K. Johnson as well. Those are the ones that, you know, I sort of gravitate to, really. I did read.
If you haven't read Delilah Dawson, first of all, just a hilarious human being. If you haven't seen her tweets, she has a joke called Bork Book. And it's poems by her dog. It's so good. She wrote the Phasma book.
Yes. Now, I haven't read the Phasma book yet. That's on my radar. I think my pile of Star Wars books is just growing.
It's a very good book, girls. You gotta dive into that. Yeah. Talk about woman power, man. I love that book.
Yeah.
I love it.
So where are you at, Christy, now with your fandom?
I would say the biggest thing that keeps me involved in Star Wars has been the Star Wars fashion. With her universe coming out, it just exploded. And I felt like now we've got Musterbrand and L. Hoffer Design and all of these amazing companies coming out with things that are specifically for women, but now also unisex as well. Awesome. And so I really feel that quote of like Star Wars is for everyone right now. Like, it gets so hard, I think, sometimes with what you see on Twitter, feeling like things are more negative in fandom than they actually are. And so I was really, really happy with what I've seen with the fashion and household products. And then this year at Celebration, the love and positivity that I felt in person.
I actually thought this year's Celebration was probably one of the best ones I've been to. I've been to 6 I've been very lucky. I've been to 6 celebrations, and I thought it was great. But I don't know whether that was because I came at it at a different angle this time. But I just thought I loved it. Everybody was so happy, so friendly, chatting.
Yeah, I agree. It was the complete opposite of what you see, especially on Twitter. It's interesting because I live on Twitter, for the most part. I have Facebook, I have Instagram, but you don't see the negativity on Instagram and Facebook like you do on Twitter. And Celebration was a complete opposite of that. Everyone was so open armed. Everyone was just so welcoming. There was not a negative thing to say. It was wonderful. Everyone was family. And so you're right. I think because this was my 5th. So, okay. I think it was just wonderful. The first celebration I ever went to was 2007. And I thought that was very welcoming because that was in LA. And it was my first time flying across the country all by myself to meet up with people I'd never met in person. We were all bloggers on the official Star Wars site back when you could have a subscription blog. So we were all meeting people with, just the character avatars. We had no idea what anyone looked like. We had no idea what anyone's real names were,
That happened to me this year. There was loads of people came up to me and they went, "Hi, I'm whatever." Yeah. And I was like, "Who?" And I knew them, but because their avatar or their Twitter or Instagram was a cartoon or something, it wasn't them. I was like, yay.
Yeah. Often have to ask, wait, what's your screen name or
yes.
Twitter handle?
Yeah. Yeah. I had to do that a few times. I'm like, and you go by, because that's the only way I would know if they didn't use their picture.
Yeah. I think this year's celebration was definitely virtual friends become real friends. Certainly for me anyway. So it's just mad. So go on, what's your favourite piece from her universe that you've got?
It has to be, even though I don't get to wear it that much, my Bespin Leia dress.
That's nice.
Beautiful. It looks just like what she wore. And it's so comfortable. It's like this, almost, suede feeling fabric. Yeah. I got the Hera sweatshirt and the, Ahsoka windbreaker.
Oh, that's lovely.
How's the windbreaker? What's that like? I saw it.
Yeah, it's like a traditional windbreaker. It's that thin, fabric that repels water. And it has a drawstring on the hood as well as the bottom.
Oh, okay.
That's all right. Yeah.
So I wear a small and it was still a little bit big on me.
Okay.
I bought the shoes, the ballet pump shoes as well.
Oh, cute.
I bought the
new ones. I saw those with the symbols on them.
Yeah. So I got the Rebel one.
Okay.
From Lucas?
Yeah. from her universe. Her universe had these black patent pumps and like a tanny pump as well. So I bought the tan pump with the Rebels insignia on it. They're lovely. Flat ballet pumps. I don't know.
Are they comfortable?
Oh yeah, you see, this is the other thing that we were saying.
This is my question. Are they comfortable? Can I wear them? Or are they sitting shoes? That's what
No, I'm hoping they're not sitting shoes. I'm hoping that they're going to last me in a classroom with 3 and 4 year olds.
Okay. Well,
I did try them. Yeah. I would say that, I'm a US 9, UK 7, and they fitted really nicely. Because sometimes I think pump shoes, or I'm not sure what you guys call them, but ballet pump shoes are like the work of the devil because they look lovely and wear awful.
Mm-hmm.
They're so flat.
Yes. Yeah. And you're just killing yourself. Oh, this looks lovely. But
there's no arch. Yeah, there's no support. That's why I'm saying, are they going to be like the sitting shoe or can I walk in them?
Well, I am going to, when the weather improves over here, I shall be wearing them. And I shall let you know.
I want a full review.
Shoe review. Do shoe review on it. Yeah. So where am I at with Star Wars at the minute? Household and clothes are my 2 main things. Trying to read the books. And I think that the whole re-energy of Star Wars under Kathleen Kennedy and everything for me has been fantastic. And plus I now have a little girl who likes watching Star Wars. Okay, yeah. Harry Potter most of the time, but she will sit down and watch it, and it's a good excuse for me to sit down and watch a cartoon.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm 46 and I will watch that cartoon.
And let me throw in there the animation that has come out.
Oh, yes.
Beautiful.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Rebels, Resistance, all of it is awesome.
Yeah.
And I'm so tired of the people that say cartoons are for children. No. Animation is for everyone too.
Well, and that's just it. I mean, and if you go back to the very beginning, with the animation, I mean, and I'm not talking the Ewok stuff and the droid special. I'm talking when they first came out with their very first, miniseries and microseries of the Clone Wars. That was very well animated for the time. And I have all those still on DVD. I love those. And it's nice that a lot of the voices from there did trickle over to the Clone Wars, that they originally didn't consider that now the canon, which is all fine and well and good. But the animation has always been, in my opinion, top notch. And I love how they switched it up per era. And I think that they should, because it goes along with the actual live action films. You take the era of the OT compared to the era of the prequels, and it's a completely different, atmosphere. You've got your gritty on the OT and your shiny and new and sterile, you know what I mean? With the prequels. I mean, it makes sense to do that even with your animation. So I think she is literally asking what would George do, and that is what George would do.
Yeah.
Why would he make it all the same? It's not the same.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I mean, a lot of people were saying about Darth Maul and Solo coming back, but George that had already happened.
Yeah.
If you'd have watched the animation.
And Dave argued against it. George wanted it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there you go.
Yeah. So always that in mind. What would George do?
I forgot something really important, and I can't believe I forgot it. I'm a member of the 501st.
Yeah. Do tell us. Yes.
I should have included that in the, where am I at with Star Wars now? Oh yeah. I spent 2 years making a costume.
And
what costume?
Wow.
What costume?
I'm Aura Singh.
Oh my
gosh.
Wow. That is wild.
I'm
Seriously,
really
with the hair and
the bald cap and the body paint and the everything.
Oh, do you have pictures to post online? I want to see this.
Yeah.
That should be your Fantha Trackers picture.
I want to see this.
Can't tell who it is though, because there's so much body paint.
That is awesome.
Yeah. I'm definitely dark side or scum and villainy at the very least.
That's fine. We can take that. We'll have you on board.
You'll take it.
So you're Aura Singh before her fall, correct?
Yeah.
Before she got crushed. I'm going with Solo Star Wars story there. We found out that.
Oh, wow.
Oh my gosh.
Showing them a
Awesome
picture.
job.
We're just seeing a picture here of Christy all dressed up.
What did you use for that?
We actually had a plastic headband that was like a comb that interlocks together to stay hooked.
Okay.
And our friend David, who since has passed away, actually helped us put a screw in the headband to hold the antenna in it.
That's incredible.
Oh, wow. I tell you what, the things that people do to get their costumes
to be just so.
Yeah, it's amazing.
It's remarkable.
And did it pass first time then, or did you have to go back and tweak it or anything before it got 501st approved?
There was about 2 weeks of discussion back and forth about well, maybe this could be done a little bit better or something, but I think we'll go ahead and approve it. And if you promise to fix this one thing here or there.
That's awesome.
Hello, I'm Warwick Davis, and you're listening to Fantha Tracks.
You weren't mistaken. That was Princess Leia at the start of the podcast today. And that was down to Julie Dolan. We met Julie at Star Wars Fan Fun Day in Burnley Football Club on the weekend of May the 4th. And Julie was very kind and gave us an interview and also recorded the opening to Planet Leia. So from everyone at Planet Leia and Fantha Tracks, Julie, we'd like to say a huge thank you and welcome to the team. So sit back, relax, and enjoy our interview. Here I am, this time in a football stadium, soccer to people from America. And And I'm here.
Football to people in America.
Oh, good. That's what I like to hear. And I'm here with Julie Dolan, the voice of Leia, and the voice of Leia for quite a lot of things, actually.
Yes.
Would you like to tell us?
The first job that I got as Leia was for Star Tours at Disneyland.
Yeah.
And in Orlando, in Anaheim and Orlando. And they auditioned, I think, about 200 girls. And they couldn't find what they wanted. And then they auditioned Carrie. They brought Carrie in for it. And she didn't quite sound like she did in A New Hope. And that's what they wanted. They wanted somebody that had that quality when she was in her teens.
Yeah.
Even though she still had a lower voice. She had a very strong, powerful voice at 18, 19.
Yeah.
And they wanted to find that. So they looked another 200 girls they auditioned, and they ended up with me and I think 2 other girls. And they brought us into Disney Imagineering. They hired a vocal coach so we could have that slight English accent that she does in the movie.
Yes.
And they gave us the Obi-Wan Kenobi speech, the General Kenobi. Years ago, you served my father in the club. They gave us that, but they changed the words. And it was, I've placed information into the Star Speeder, and I was like, what is this? We had no idea. They wouldn't tell us what it was for. So I got to the Disney Imagineering. We did the recording, and they had a hologram of Leia for me to watch while I was recording, just so I could relate to her. And it was the hologram from the movie. And I stepped out of the booth after recording, and they showed me what they did, and they changed the mouth on Carrie and manipulated it to form the words that I was saying. And I watched it, and I said, is that Carrie or is that me? And they went, no, that's what you just recorded. That's you. And you sound exactly like her. And I was like, oh my God, what is this for? And then, I can't tell you.
Oh, no.
I still didn't know. So 2 weeks go by, I don't hear anything. And my agent calls me and says, okay, you booked it. What did I book? She's like, I don't know, but we'll find out when they tell us. So they finally told us it was for Star Tours.
And how long then did that run?
That'll outlive me.
Wow.
That's in Anaheim, in Orlando, and they also have it in Paris and Tokyo. But I found out, somebody here asked me, do you speak fluent French? I said, well, no, why? Well, then that's not your voice in Paris, because she's speaking in French.
Okay, I haven't.
I didn't even think about that. So, yeah, that's not me. That's another Leia.
So did you then, when you did the bit, when they changed the words, so had you rehearsed beforehand the original General Kenobi?
That was my audition, yes. That was the audition, is the General Kenobi speech. Oh. Exactly as it is in the movie. They gave me her speech in the movie and said, try to sound like this.
Wow.
So I practiced at home. I would say the words along with her, which helps because then I get the rhythm, I get the pitch, I get the emotion, I get everything.
Yeah.
And then I recorded it and sent it in. So it makes it easier when you hear her voice, you say it, and then you can do it.
Yeah.
So that's what they had at the studio. They would have her voice, and I would listen, and I would say the words. They'd stop it, and then they go, okay, go. Because if it's fresh in my mind, it's easy.
Then you know what to do.
But to pull it out of nowhere, without hearing it, it's not as easy.
Yeah. Oh, I know what's happening. We're being interrupted for the Run of the Willow Hood. The ice cream sellers are there. Ice cream! Ice cream! Ice cream! Ice cream! That's amazing. Crazy. Ice cream! 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 So what I need to tell you people now is currently we've just been bombarded by orange suits.
Yes.
And ice cream cone makers.
Yes. Awesome.
Hold on. Oh, it's coming.
So after that job, I thought that was it. And I get called from Dave Filoni.
Yes.
And they wanted me to come in to do some in-house project. No idea what it was. and they hooked me up with the motion capture, and they had a little camera on me, and they said, we want you to do this scene with R2-D2 and C-3PO. Okay. And I had no idea what it was for. Still don't know what it was for. And about a week...
You go to all these things and it's like a mystery.
Yeah. I think it might have been my audition for Rebels.
Right.
I'm guessing. But it was for some project. They used it. I never saw it. But that was also my audition because Dave directed me. And I think they wanted to see if I could really act, or if I was just a sound-alike.
Yeah.
And I've been an actor since I was 9, so I did TV and film. I knew exactly what to do.
Was that your first time then that you'd done sort of cartoons?
Animation, yeah.
Animation.
Yes. I've done commercials, voiceover and on camera, but I had never done much animation, not like this. So he said to me, when you come in to do Rebels, we'll, and started the conversation, and I went, when I come in? When? So I called my agent, I said, I think I just booked Rebels. I didn't even know I was auditioning for it, but I heard that I might be, so they brought me in for that.
And that was for the episode of Princess on the Lothal?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And then I got called to do a new series called Star Wars Legos, the Freemaker Adventures.
Yeah.
Booked that. I didn't even audition. It was like they just grabbed me to use me for different projects. And then they said, can you sound like current Leia, which is the gravelly, low, General Leia. Actually, at that time, Force Awakens hadn't come out yet. So, but they asked me to sound like her, and I thought, wonder what that's for. Force Awakens, she sounds like that.
Yeah.
So I did a few video games. And I really tried to get that gravelly voice, and it was like, I'm just trying to sound like an old lady, and it just doesn't work. Yeah. But it worked for the video games, and so I did a couple of those. Who knew? And then they did Last Jedi came out, and then she passed away, so they brought me in to do some of her like ADR and dialogue.
Oh wow!
But I just did, and I was in the studio with Ryan Johnson, who was fabulous, and we recorded 2 days, but they ended up being able to use most of her footage, her dialogue, and my voice just didn't match.
I mean, over the years, Carrie's voice kind of developed, didn't it?
Yes.
You know, it like we all do. We all get older and we change. But
so I think there was one girl that maybe said one line for her ADR that maybe they changed the line or something, and they needed to redo that, and she sounded just like her. I watched the movie and I was like, that's Carrie. That line is Carrie. Oh, that's the line I said. Oh, that's Carrie. Oh, I can tell that's a different voice. That's one of the lines that I said, because I knew all the lines that they were trying to cover. Because I read the script of what needed to be reworded. So I was like, oh, they're changing that line. They're changing that line. That line wasn't clear. It has to be clear. So, but I heard one line that wasn't me, and it wasn't Carrie. I don't think.
No.
But thank God they were able to salvage most of her stuff.
Yes, and I think, and then they've said the same, haven't they, for episode 9, that they've managed to pull stuff from The Force Awakens, I think it is.
Yes.
For her in this one. So, how much pressure did you feel playing one of the original trilogy characters?
A lot. Although I didn't realize the responsibility that I had, because of course I saw the movie in 1977, but I wasn't a huge sci-fi fan. So I saw the 3 movies, 4, 5, and 6, and that was it. So I thought, well, I better revisit those movies, and I better see 1, 2, and 3 as well, because there were only 6 movies at the time. Yeah. And I watched them over and over and over. And then I did Wikipedia, and I looked up Princess Leia, and it has a whole list of all the things about her, as if she's a real person. Well, she is, but you know what I mean.
No, I am.
And as an actor, when you're playing a character, you want to know who they are and what they believe in and who their parents are and what their goals are and what how they feel about things and what their relationships. So I dove into her character. I learned terminology that I'd never heard before, the Star Wars terminology, because I knew I would be doing interviews. And I thought
and you would be meeting, I suppose, people like myself who are very Leia-centric about, our fandom and, quoting this and asking you different
Yes.
bits and pieces.
And I needed to know
Yeah.
what I was talking about.
You're almost like on another interview, aren't you, when you're being interviewed or being questioned by fans?
Yes, yes.
But
the first couple of interviews I had, Lucasfilm Publicity, the gal that works there, was on the phone with me just to make sure I didn't either say something that I shouldn't be saying or spill the beans about a storyline, or if I didn't know what I was talking about, or if they asked me a question and I had no idea, she was right there for me. If I had to help me out.
Isn't it? And nice to have that support
Yes.
as well.
And then after about 5 interviews, she said, "You know exactly what you're doing.
Am I?
I'm out. I don't know. I got to go to work."
So apparently you and the Leias all meet up for a cup of tea and a gossip. Is that true?
Misty Lee arranged it where none of us knew each other. And I think actually 2 of them may have worked together in Clone Wars, so they knew each other. But the 5 of us, she contacted all of us and said, "I think we should all support each other and go to lunch and just kind of hear our different views on the Leias that we play." So the first time we met, we had lunch, and of course we all knew a lot of the same people, but we all had different experiences, and we had all worked with a lot of the same people. And then after the lunch, I was doing a play. They all came to see my play.
Oh, wow.
And then I had a gig. They all came to see my gig. And then Misty is a magician. She worked at the Magic Castle in Hollywood.
Yeah.
We all went to see her show. And then another one, Anna Graves, who she played Leia in, I think, a video game, but she played Satine in the Clone Wars.
Oh, yes.
And Kat Tabor plays Padme.
That's
and
right,
she also did Leia in 1 or 2 things.
She did it in
there's something that hasn't been released yet.
Yeah.
She also does it at Celebration.
Yeah.
She gets on stage and she does that. And then Shelby Young, who is in the Forces of Destiny. She plays Leia in Forces of Destiny, which is there's short little clips on the Disney Channel and on...
Yeah, they're lovely, those little ones. So you've got like the support group now.
Yes. In fact, I was talking to them earlier. We were all texting each other. They were like excited that I'm here, and they all want to know what it's like, because most of them haven't been to, like, one of them, Shelby has never done a convention before.
Has she not?
No, neither has Misty, I don't think. And especially over here.
Yeah.
So they were all excited about that.
So they're trying to get like the insider information from you, right? Is it good to over here in England? You need to say yes, come over.
I did.
So this is your first time in England?
No, not my first time in England, but my first time doing a convention in England. I was in England when I was 18 years old. I went to Cal State Northridge for college. And in the theater department, I majored in theater. And what they like to do is they like to take any of the students that are going to major in theater, if they want to go, they take a tour we went to Scotland, Holland, London, and Paris, and we saw theater all over.
Oh, wow.
Just to prep us for going to college and being involved in the theater department. So we went all over Europe. At 18 years old, I think I was gone a month.
Oh.
My parents said, "Yes, we'll pay for it. Go and get experience, dive into theater, and then when you come back, you go to college for theater." It's great.
And then you're here now, and this is your first convention in the UK.
Yes, but I've been back to London several times.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And I've been to Paris several times. And I used to be a magician's assistant, so I've been all over the world performing.
So you know all the secrets.
I do. I had to sign a non-disclosure
agreement.
agreement.
In the Magician's Circle or something, isn't it? There's like a club that, well, in England anyway, there's like a club where the Magic Circle, and it's called the Magic Circle, and you know the secrets, and you're not allowed to talk about it. Not allowed to, so I won't. I promise you. It's a bit like working on Star Wars, isn't it?
A lot like working on Star Wars.
I'm not telling you anything
in that
yet.
World. Yeah, they don't tell you.
So you're here in Burnley. What's your thoughts so far about this convention?
Oh, I love the people. I feel like I'm having a family reunion.
Yeah.
Meeting people that I've met online.
So future projects at the minute, what have you got?
I have a movie coming out on camera.
Yeah.
Called it's sort of a a horror film, but there's comedy in it, called Chompy and the Girls.
Brilliant.
Chompy and the Girls. I also do the announcer voice now on a video game called Arena of Valor, which I had not heard of, but apparently it was the most downloaded, it was an app, a downloaded app in the world, and now they've paired up with Nintendo Switch, and now they're like an official game, so I've been doing a lot of that.
What does it feel like to hear your voice as you walk around, or do you not listen?
I have not heard my voice on Arena of Valor. I've been Googling it, but I'm not a gamer.
Yeah.
So I haven't downloaded the game. So I have to go on YouTube and just hope somebody will post something with my voice on it. So far, I haven't heard anything.
So you need to set up the alert, don't you? And then it'll pop up for you.
Something. So when I recorded last week, I said to them, how can I get a clip of this so I can use it for my demo? Then you got to buy the game.
Then you could become addicted to the game. That would be, you see, you don't want to do that.
It's a pretty nice game. So, yeah. And then I have another movie coming out called Amy, and it's a real serious subject about child sex trafficking.
Oh, gosh,
And it's a true story because it's happening right in our United States, in rural neighborhoods.
Yeah, and here too, I'm a teacher, and there's a real thing about it, and we're trying to just protect children.
Yep.
And it's a sad.
That's what this movie is about. It's about being aware and making neighbors aware of your neighbors. If you see something that doesn't look right, you need to not ignore it.
Yeah.
And in the movie, I'm one of the neighbors that ignores it. And then at the end, when I see them escorting the girls out, I knew something was wrong. And I run up to one of the girls and say, I'm so sorry. I knew something was wrong, and I ignored it. So it's a really powerful message.
So is that on general release, or it's Netflix?
It's editing right now. They're in the editing department.
Okay.
So that should be released later this year. I don't know where they're going to release it. Netflix or maybe
Amazon or something.
Yeah, the festivals.
Oh, it's okay. It's okay. Well, we'll stop the interview now. Okay. Julie, thank you so much we're stopping because we've got looks like a Star Wars Rebels fan has come up to get his autograph. Julie, thank you very much again for interviewing.
You're very welcome.
Oh, pleasure.
And may the Force be with you.
You guys have way more fun over there. It's so not fair.
No, you see, I think you do. You see, I see all the things that you have, and I'm not going, that's not fair.
Wow. That's awesome, though.
What you're excited for you, Claire, that only happens here in like Los Angeles or New York. Like I don't get any of that in Atlanta ever.
No, none at all.
And being that I'm in upstate New York, I'm still a good 7.5, 8 hour ride driving from New York City. I'm still very far. So I don't get there. I've never been to New York City. Like never.
I haven't either.
I have. There you go. The Irish geek girl has been.
Well, now Becca and I have to go to New York City together.
Well, why don't we just all meet? We'll just do that and see what we can do. Road trip. Planet Leia road trip. No. As long as I can have a gin and tonic in my hand at some point, that's
fine.
That's all.
Sure.
That's a requirement.
Right. There's
a sports centre, literally 300 meters, not even, up the road from me. And on the 13th of July, there's a Comic Con there, and there's 4 actors from Star Wars going.
Oh.
Yeah. And that's brilliant because they'll all be in my local pub drinking that evening. So I'll be like...
Yeah, so you can still make your rounds. They're going to be there.
That is where we're lucky, I suppose, in a way.
Yeah.
You know, in that sense. So that's
my personable. That's the word. It's more personable.
It is.
Like for you guys. Like for us, it seems like, you know, it's hard. Like there's so much red tape, I guess is the way I would say it. Like you guys can go to these little places, like you said, and they're there. We couldn't even come within, 50 feet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because they'd have such an entourage around them to make sure, that's why Celebration is such a thrill, because we're finally within a few feet of these people, and we can actually see them and hear them and Welcome to Planet Leia and the coffee chat.
Yeah. Cups of tea. And what was that you were drinking there, Christy? A little glass of wine.
My Pinot Grigio.
Ooh, nice.
I have like once a month.
Oh, yeah. No, it's nice.
But no, coffee is essential to life. So
tea. I'm an Irish tea girl.
Okay.
I actually get it imported from my parents, and Marcus's parents bring it every time. Have you brought the tea bags? Have you brought the tea bags? And it's like, yes, we're all right. We're all right. Typical Irish girl, you have another cup of tea.
Hey man, it's me, Kevin Smith, Star Wars fan, Fantha Trackers fan.
So one of the things about Planet Leia is that we come from Europe and the US, and we talk about things, all Star Wars. And we had the opportunity to meet up together at Star Wars Celebration in Chicago. So here we are, talking all things Star Wars on the Sunday of Star Wars Celebration. Good afternoon, everybody. Hi! So, welcome to the first episode of Planet Leia, live from Star Wars Celebration in Chicago. As you probably guessed, we've got European influence in our podcast, and we've got an American influence. Talk just a little bit about what we're about, who we're about, and you'll find out just a little snippet. We've already had a shared experience where we were all sitting here and everybody was far too polite to say they needed to use the, as we call it, toilet, as you call it,
restroom. Yes, so my name is Johanna. I'm coming from Sweden, and my English is really all over the place because in school I learned British English. We get American from all the TV and films and everything, but I also lived a year in Ireland. So yeah, my English tends to be all over the place. Anyway,
your English is better than my Swedish.
Definitely. I'm sorry, Claire, but it is.
It is.
Yes. No, and I'm a bit younger than Claire, so I would say I'm calling myself, without going into years, the TV generation. I saw the films on TV, and they were good enough that I then wanted to see them when they came as the special editions. And basically, the first time I watched Star Wars, so rather it was Empire Strikes Back, and this is very important because I was a preteen with a crush on Harrison Ford. And there was going to be this film, and nothing else to do. I was sitting in my parents' bedroom watching the TV, and Empire Strikes Back, Harrison Ford comes in this lovely blue coat. I know it's brown, but come on, it's blue on screen.
Yeah.
And he takes it off and I'm going to watch this. And here I am now, what is it, many, many years later, and I'm still watching the films. I'm still a big Han Solo fan. So I guess and then I watched the special editions, and that was actually the first time when I saw A New Hope. I hadn't seen it before. I'd just seen Empire and Jedi. So I was really surprised when I saw A New Hope and saw the beginning of the films. And then with the prequels, I realized this was so much fun, and it was quite an important part of my life. I mean, I was a teenager, internet had started to come. All of a sudden, you could reach out to other people who shared your interest, and that was totally new for me. I am a nerd, big nerd, but I had never been able to talk about all this nerdy stuff with other people, and with Star Wars I could. And with that, I dove totally into it with the prequels and all the EU legends and everything. And yeah, that's where I am.
Brilliant.
Hi, I'm Megan Cullinan. I am from the U.S. I'm from Illinois, actually not too far from Chicago. So this wintry weather we're having today is pretty normal.
No, not like home
for spring in the Midwest. But I'm in my mid-30s, so I missed the original trilogy. So I'm a special editions girl. I was a teenager when the special editions came out. I actually was a big Harrison Ford fan, and I was a big sci-fi fan, but somehow never managed to see Star Wars on TV, never rented the VHSs for whatever reason. But I loved Indiana Jones and all the sci-fi things that were happening. So when I found out that the special editions were coming out in '97, I'm like, I gotta see these movies. Harrison Ford's in them. And then that was it for me. I was in love. Han Solo and Princess Leia were my absolute two favorite characters. And it wasn't even like necessarily about their relationship. It was just that I loved both their characters so much. And then, so a couple years later, the prequels came out and I was still in high school. So that was a big deal for me, especially with Natalie Portman being the same age as me, playing this character. And I love the Phantom Menace it's in I would say my top 3 or 4 of the movies. So that just sort of kick-started my love of Star Wars. I started reading all the books around that time too. So that's a big deal.
I'm starting to feel a bit old now.
Hi, this is Patty Hammond, the everyday fangirl from Michigan. Yes, this weather is just normal to me. Hot one day, snow the next. That's Midwest for you. Okay, I like Claire. I'm about the same age, except for I have the distinction of seeing Star Wars about 2 weeks before everybody else. I might not be as bad, as much as Stephen Colbert, who said 3 weeks, but it was 2 weeks. My mother won tickets through a TV program to the local premiere in Detroit, and I got to see it then. The biggest memory from that is 2 things. One, I was afraid of the trash compactor scene. I don't know why. It bugged me for years. And then my dad coming out of the theater that day and saying, "Mark my words, this film will become a legend." He was right. Yeah. And that was 2 weeks before it was released nationwide. So, at least. I don't know. My memory is vague. I think it was about 2 weeks because it hadn't been out yet and none of the hoopla was out. So, that's my Star Wars story of how I, became Star Wars, and I loved it ever since.
Oh, hold on. Stop the podcast. They're giving out free pizza. Yes, we're in. Get one there for us. Go for it. Yeah, take whatever. Take it, Johanna. That's it. They're giving. Yeah. Take those 2 for our giveaway. So we're watching Game of Thrones, and then grab one to eat tonight. Grab one. Paddy, grab. Here, hold on. Go get it. Excuse me. I'm gonna do a mad dash here. I'm going all cheese. Seriously, we've just turned up. And there's proper pizza. Now I know I'm in Chicago. Right, okay. Shall we have some now? No, we shouldn't probably while we're talking, should we? Right, that'll do it. Here, stick that one down there. Is that one? Yeah. That one, Megan?
Yeah.
Hi, Greg.
Do you want another one? That's hilarious. Yeah, we interrupt this podcast for free pizza, a Star Wars celebration. Okay, so does this now make up for Thursday's chaos?
A little bit.
Hello, Fantha Tracks. Fantha Tracks. I screwed it up. Hi, Fantha Tracks.
And somebody amongst us rocked the stage.
Yeah, so Claire. Okay, so Amanda, the pre-show host, was doing this singing thing. She wanted volunteers for people to sing the song, sing lyrics from songs that they were playing. So Claire's pointing at me, pick her. And
tell people why I said you, because you are
Well, I'm actually a singer. That's part of my profession. Yep. I'm a voice teacher and music director and performer. So I studied vocal music. But yeah, and I'm in my casual Ahsoka outfit, and so Amanda's like, oh yeah, we'll pick her, go up on stage. So I got to go on stage, sing a few songs. Then the 5 of us that were up there got to sit in the VIP section off to the side. Yay! Then we all got pictures with everybody on the panel, and I, got a few selfies with Vanessa Marshall, Susan McGrath, Kat Tabor, so it was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Pretty awesome.
And I was crying.
Yeah.
Not sad. I was so happy.
I was so happy that you were there, with me. We were sitting right next to each other, and then you run up and bring my bag and take a picture, and it was nuts.
So you need to check out Fantha Trackers TV because that video is being uploaded to YouTube. the day a Fantha Tracker rocked the stage at Celebration. I have to say I was just like, oh, my friend's up there. Yeah. She's rocking Pat Benatar. And just as a little aside, so today's Sunday, and I met Kat Taber, and it was just lovely. And she was like, oh, yeah, the Ahsoka girl, she rocks Pat Benatar. And I was like, yeah, you see, that's it.
Yeah, very cool.
So we are being noticed, ladies, for our singing ability. Well, not mine, but,
For Megs.
Yeah, absolutely. So I have to say that was my highlight.
Aww.
The Sisters of the Force.
Yeah.
But Sisters of the Force here too, actually. Yeah.
Sure.
I was just like, oh. And there wasn't a dry eye in that panel.
I know. I cried so much.
I cried. Every single story.
Yeah, every story was...
The last story is special to me because I know Darth McKenna.
Yes, you do, that's right.
Yes.
Yeah.
And she specifically told us that she was going to be on this panel, but didn't know why. She just said Vanessa wanted her to be there, and she was really nervous about being on stage with, in such a big arena. So she asked my husband and I to make sure we were there. Even in the audience, she might not see us, but I don't think she realized that they were going to tell her most recent story about being bullied and all that. And when we found out, which was a couple days ago, I knew something was going on when I was having trouble, but they couldn't tell me. They could, I had my own situation, but her being bullied made my husband really, really upset and really sad, and he's taking a special interest in her because he has similar disabilities that she has. So, and he went through what she did, and he wants to support her. So, the Sisters of the Force panel was really special to both of us because she was there and it was her story. But also, we wanted to reinforce that we are going to be there for her, not just this weekend, but whenever she needs us.
Right. I'm going to say, as a Star Wars girl fan, certainly in the late 40s, I am. It was a really different thing. There was myself and my best friend Andrew, and I was a nerd. I am a nerd and I am a geek, and I'm quite happy to say that, which is why I'm happy here. I feel really at home here.
Yep.
And so her story struck a chord with me too, because I've been there. It's horrible. Yeah. People teasing you because you like something that's weird, or or we wear weird clothes, or we do whatever, we talk things, but we're all laughing about them and we understand it. And to somebody else, I think sometimes they feel threatened by that.
Right.
And actually we're stronger for having everybody here.
Yeah.
I think that's the thing that certainly I hope Darth McKenna took from yesterday.
Yeah. I agree, and that we wanted to reinforce that we are going to be there for her after this weekend and into the coming months, the coming year.
Yeah.
It's not just because we connected Star Wars Celebration and that's it.
It's bigger than that. We'll take a look at us. Take a look at all of us and where we're from, and I think that's what makes it special, and I think that's what's going to make it work for everybody. Really, I'm really happy.
Booker's alive! Be gone with him!
Luke passade på att ta någon annans drink från en kypares spricka medan de banade sig iväg till baksidan av kantinan. Han läppjade på den med den överlägsna minen hos den som vet med sig att han står under gudomligt skydd. Så trygg var han inte, men i Kenobis och den jättestora Wookens sällskap var han nästan övertygad om att ingen i baren skulle våga att ens kasta en ilsken blick på honom. I en avbalkning längst bak träffade de en ung man med skarpskurna anletsdrag. Han var kanske 5 år äldre än Luke, kanske ett dussin, det var svårt att säga. Han var så öppen som bara den som är fullständigt säker på sig själv kan vara, eller vanvettigt våghalsig. När det kom skickade mannen iväg den humanoida slampa som suttit och skruvat sig på hans knä, samtidigt som han viskade något till henne som åstadkom ett brett om en omänskligt leende på hennes ansikte. Wookin Chewbacca mumlade något till mannen som nickade till svar och med ett glatt uttryck i ansiktet såg upp mot nykomlingarna. Du kan verkligen sköta den där sabeln, gamle man. Det är inte ofta som man nu för tiden får se fäktning av den kvaliteten i den här delen av imperiet. Han stjälpte i sig en avsevärd del av vad det nu var som fanns i hans mugg. Jag är Han Solo, kapten på årtusende Falken. Tiden var inne att övergå till affärerna. Chewie säger att ni vill ha transport till Alderaan. Just det, unge man. Om vi kan hitta ett snabbt skepp, sa Kenobi. Det var inte uttrycket unge man som Solo reagerade mot. Snabbt skepp? Menar ni att ni inte ens hört talas om årtusende Falken? Kenobi såg road ut. Finns det någon anledning? Det var det skeppet som gick till Kessel på mindre än 12 parallaxsekunder, förklarade Solo indignerat. Jag har kört ifrån Imperiets rymdskepp och Corellianernas kryssare. Hon borde vara snabb nog för dig, gamle man. Hans vrede lade sig snabbt. Vad har du för last? Bara passagerare, jag själv, pojken och 2 androider. Och vi vill slippa frågor.
So, that's it. Oh my goodness. That's the end of the first episode. Hope you've enjoyed it and hope you've enjoyed listening to all our ramblings, coffee, celebration, pizza. Well, I suppose really I should go to bed now, shouldn't I?
You should.
Yes. Yeah. What we need to tell everybody is it's 20 to 3 in the morning here, and it's what time?
A quarter to 10
at night.
Right, about quarter to 10.
Yeah, right here. Yep.
So we're going to sign off for our first episode of Planet Leia. Thank you very much for listening to our ramblings and our bits and pieces. We hope you enjoyed it and enjoyed the interviews that we had on it today. We're going to get those time zones right and make sure that we can get everybody on board. So thank you very much for listening. Thanks very much for listening to Planet Leia, and we'll sign off now with "We love you, you know."
You know.
You know.